In this video, we are talking about multiplication of signed numbers. And when we say signed numbers, we're just talking about numbers with either positive sign or negative sign attached. For example, in these expressions here, we have a positive 2 and 3 is a negative number with a negative sign in front of it. So when we want to multiply either two positive numbers or two negative numbers or a mix of positive and negative numbers, what will be the sign of the result? Well, in this case, we have this chart here to help us. What we are saying with this chart is that if we are multiplying together a positive number and a positive number, find the intersection of these two, we're going to get a positive number. Or if we're multiplying together a negative number and a negative number, we're going to get a positive number. If, on the other hand, we're multiplying a negative number with a positive number, we get a negative number. Another way to remember this is that if we're multiplying two numbers together and they have the same sign, then the result will be positive. And it doesn't matter if we have two positive numbers that are being multiplied together or two negative numbers that are being multiplied together. They have the same sign, so the result will be positive. So if the signs were different, the result will be negative. So if we apply this logic to these expressions we've been given here to find the result, what do we get? Well, we have 2 times 3. Those are both positive numbers. We have positive 2 times positive 3. These signs are the same. They are both positive. So our result is going to be positive. Our result will be positive 6. Here we have a positive 2 times a negative 3. We have a positive and a negative. Their signs are different. We know that if we have a different signs, the result will be negative. So 2 times 3, we got a 6, and positive times negative, we got a negative 6 as a result. Here we switch the order. We have negative 2 and a positive 3. But the point is we have a negative number and a positive number. Different signs, so the result is negative. And we got negative 6. And here we have two negative numbers, negative 2 and negative 3. The signs are the same. They are both negative, so our result will be positive. Now keep in mind that this logic only applies when you're multiplying together just two signed numbers. If you're multiplying together more than two numbers, so you have 3 numbers that you're multiplying together or 4 numbers that you're multiplying together, this logic doesn't necessarily hold. So for example, if I want to multiply together negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 4, or if I want to multiply together negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 4 times negative 5, our results are going to be different. So here I have negative 2, negative 3 and negative 4. You might say, well, the signs are all the same, they are all negative, so my result is going to be positive because my signs are the same. But no, that's not true. This logic works when we have two numbers. For every two negative signs you have, they are gonna cancel each other and become a positive. So here I have negative 2 times negative 3. I have two negative signs. So I can cancel out my two negative signs and I can turn them into positive signs. And now I have positive 2 times positive 3, which of course we know was the positive 6. The reason the result of these two examples was a negative 6 is because I had only one negative sign. The reason the result of these two examples was a negative 6 is because I had only one negative sign. In other words, I had an odd number of negative signs, and so my result was negative. So really our conclusion needs to be if you have an even number of negative sign, then the result is going to be positive. If you have an odd number of negative sign, then the result is going to be negative. So here we can see why that works. We have a negative 2 and negative 3. We know that we can cancel out every two negative signs, so we can turn both of these into positive. So here we can see why that works. We have a negative 2 and negative 3. We know that we can cancel out every two negative signs, so we can turn both of these into positives. But this negative sign doesn't have another one. that we can cancel it with. So it's just going to stay. We know 2 times 3 is 6, so we get 6 times negative 4, and we know that that's going to be a negative 24. So you can see that the result was negative because we had an odd number of negative signs. So in this example, we have negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 4 times negative 5. We have an even number of negative signs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 negative signs. So we accept our result to be positive, and in fact that's true because we can cancel every 2 negative signs. So 1, 2 negative signs, 1, 2 other negative signs, and they all become positives. So 2 times 3 is 6, 4 times 5 is 20, and 6 times 20 will be 120. And that's positive 120. Our answer become positive because we had an even number of negative signs. And that's how you deal with multiplication of signed numbers.